welcome to my live stream. And I'm just walking alongside Kootenay Lake. You can see behind me, beautiful lake. You'll see more nice scenery as I get out from under these trees. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being inside of my ecosystem and hearing my message. Thank you for just being on the receiving ends of this. I'm talking about breaking chains today. I just got out of the gym and I feel fantastic. Like incredible workout at Power by You. Hopefully the wind is not too noisy so you can hear me okay. But I wanted to share some reflections on some of what I heard last night as I took some time to myself and did a little reading and integration, reviewing some of my own notes. And I'd made myself a note to look up this name, Diana Fleischman, that I think Om Rupani mentioned. And she's an evolutionary biologist. And she specifically had been mentioned because of her thoughts on porn. And the evolutionary biologists look at the relationship between men and women in a similar way than I do. Because as a men's relationship coach and a men's performance coach, I'm really interested in drive and the biological evolutionary forces that drive us and cause us to want what we want. Anyhow, so Diana had, here's a nice view of the epic Orange Bridge in the distance. There's Nelson's famous landmark. You can kind of see it in the distance, the Orange Bridge. Anyhow, so one of the things that I'm always going on about is the systemic sedation of men. And we know this, but Diana's thoughts really brought it crystallized it with more nuance and more subtlety and detail, which is really useful because we know now that men have been sedated in large degree because of these environmental factors, like a highly estrogen dominant environment. That's one. And then video games, scrolling social media, and porn. And specifically, Diana was talking about how not only does porn use in a man's life sedate him, but specifically, it will take away his drive for status seeking. And that's interesting to me because it is more in the evolutionary biology camp that you hear, psychologists actually honoring evolutionary drivers. And as men, we are hardwired to seek status. It's how we mate and pair bond, because on a primal level, that's what the pair bonding impulse is. Women are looking for a provider, someone who is going to create safety and provisional power. And what you see these days is a lot of emasculated men. I know because I was one, and for much of my confused period in my 20s, I wasn't actually seeking status. I was seeking myself. I was a spiritual seeker. But I think that's part and parcel of the world we live in and the distortions in the modern world. Why men would choose not to even want to seek status, and if they're porn users, then a lot of that primal drive gets usurped by the screen. And then you add in the video games and the scrolling And you can see how the systemic sedation of men, and specifically porn, will zap a man's status-seeking behavior. And we need men to be status-seeking. And the funny thing about kind of mainstream psychology is that it villainizes and demonizes most traditional masculine drive, like the drive for status, which includes like healthy measures of aggression and healthy measures of dominance. Those are just built into the hierarchy. As men, we're wired for hierarchy. We need fathers and uncles and mentors. It's part of the hero's journey. Oh, look at the beautiful little duck. This is known as Duck Bay. Let me show you a little bit. I'm just on a walk to go meet my son and my wife at Lakeside Park. Feeling blessed on this beautiful day. Sending you good energy too. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being in my world, hearing my thoughts, what I'm going on about. But yeah, so I was talking about dominance and aggression, which I was raised playing hockey in Southern Ontario. So I'm, aggression is a funny paradox for us as men, because we're taught that aggression is good. You want to go score the points, get the ball, get the puck, and in certain areas it's rewarded. But then in recent years, the mainstream has very much demonized the primal, natural driving forces that make men by naming it toxic masculinity and having this kind of worldview slip into psychology in the main vein that makes it intolerable for men to be men. And this is what I'm seeing as a relationship coach with so much of my own clients, because they get into these relationships that are depolarized, and men have forgotten how to be men, and women, conversely, have forgotten how to be women. There's an old poet who I followed before he passed away named Robert Bly. He wrote an epic book called Iron John, and it's a book for men about an ancient fairy tale. And he points out that in the ancient days there were myths that were just told for men, and then there were myths and stories, fairy stories, that were just told for women. And there was a good reason for that, because as men we need our man caves, we need our fires to sit around and share stories and share knowledge that helps a man be a man. That's what all the warrior cultures have intact. And that's part of the problem, is that rather than having those fireplaces, we have the hypnotizing fluoride stare that comes from screen time, too much screen time. Even now you're looking at this screen. Oh look, here's a flock of Canadian geese. I don't know, can you see those? Right there. Oh, they're kind of blocked. Can you see those? Anyway, so yeah, that's my jam. You might want to check out Diana Fleischman, and the other introduction that I had to the field of evolutionary biology is a great book called Sex at Dawn, and it's all about why men and women cheat on each other in relationships, and our primal kind of mating drives, and why men feel jealous in a different way than women in relationships. And the beautiful thing about Sex at Dawn is that it compares men and women relating as humans to two different animal cultures. One, the chimpanzees, and two, the bonobos. And the chimpanzees are very like brutal and violent and more patriarchal. And then the bonobos are matriarchal, and they're more things are run by the elder women, and they're very kind of promiscuous, like they're all having orgies all the time. And so they're talking about, that's why the title Sex at Dawn is all about why we stray and cheat. And fascinating read if you're interested in those drivers and what sets us apart as men and women in our primal and natural states by comparing us to those chimps and bonobos. So here I am walking through the beautiful soccer fields and that's Elephant Mountain across the lake. So yeah, I wanted to celebrate that because it's been a big reversal for me to realize at some point in my 30s that I was sedated and depressed and I wasn't living my purpose. I had sold myself short on my own life, and I had lost that status seeking drive. And then I got it back when I started dating a woman who had a kid, and I had all of a sudden became a stepdad, and I became a father figure, and I had to figure out myself and figure out how to get some money and make money and get a car and get like real. And so now in my mid 40s, after making all sorts of commitments and training and investing in my own career as a therapist, and now as a transformational leader and coach and mentor, that's one of the things I do with men, is help them figure out their relationships, because that's a pain point for a lot of people, and part of it is the whole man. Like, you don't just fix one thing, because how you show up for one thing is how you show up for everything. And that's the four kingdoms that it all comes back to, that are your four investment areas every day, are body, being, balance, and business. And you want to keep your eye on your money game, your bank account, as a reflection of your own sense of self-worth and your net worth. But also look in the mirror at your body and say, am I fit the way I want to be? And what do I need to do about it? Look, I found a little red tennis ball. That's cool. Feels like a dog ball. And then am I in right relationship, in my relationships that matter most, typically family, or the man-woman relationship, your significant other. Like, is my love life working? And that's the balance kingdom. Is my love life working? How's it working? And then the final and maybe most innermost kingdom is your heart, or your sense of being, your spiritual connection with God, and your sense of certainty within yourself, within your decision-making frame, within your sense of purpose and power in the world and within. So those are the four core kingdoms: body, being, balance, and business. And if you really want to optimize across one of those, then you also have to tweak the others. It's a diagnostic tool. Every day you invest by taking action and paying yourself in the natural wealth of the knowledge of those four kingdoms. And that's the game that I get my people I serve, my clients, that's what I get them to play. I get them to play in the game of making those daily investments and recalibrating their sense of who they are, what they want in their vision, where they're going. Because without a vision, the people perish. This is one of the features of Lakeside Park, is this old trolley that they have a volunteer crew who keeps it going, and it runs back and forth from the park to the mall, and it's a historical feature of this town here, Nelson, in Western Canada. So that's all I got for you. I just wanted to activate this YouTube live channel and share some of my thoughts. Again, thanks for commenting, thanks for tuning in, and sending big love, sending good energy wherever you are. Wishing you the best for today. Bye for now.